fam, happy Wednesday to you all, guys. Today I want to speak around 10 altcoins that I've been accumulating, 10 altcoins that I'm seeing major moves, and at the same time I'm seeing the same signal we see every couple of 9 months when it comes to these altcoins, and majority of them have done up to 100% gains every time the signal has hit. So for me, yet again, it is urgent to start turning bullish. Right, turning bullish at the bottom areas is how you make the most money in crypto. Today, I'm going to give you guys high time frame charts as well as some short time frame trades that I am in right now. So do me a favor, smash up the like, smash up the subscribe button. Where's my intro video? Mike, where's my intro video? It's here. Let's go.
I try and help everyone in my space, and this is what I get. I try and fight the devils, but inside I'm just like sniper. Welcome to Sheldon's show.
Yes. Again, we have not been this oversold in years, right? Many of the charts are showing, look at ETH, right? How long ago were we this oversold, right? There's only been 5 times we've been this oversold on ETH, right? There's lots to speak about today. But first, I want to ask, what did this man buy yesterday? He bought something and he's not telling me. And it's not fair because we've been friends for like, how many years? Nearly 20 years, Michael. And you're not telling me what you're buying. So yesterday he was just buying and buying and buying and buying, and everyone in the office was messaging me like he's not okay, he's frothing by the mouth, he's going crazy. So I think the bull fever is kicking in on him. So I'm proud of him for being bullish in a bear market, but you need to be a better friend and tell me what you're buying. That would be fair. So can everyone guess in the comments below what Michael's been buying? Let me know. Those who are right, I will give you $300 cash. Okay. Mikey, tomorrow, on Friday, you're going to reveal what you bought, and anyone that got it correct, right, and has a 𝗧𝗥𝗔𝗗𝗘𝗥𝗧 account, I'll give you $300 on the stream. Let me know in the comments below. Tag, say, Michael bought this, right, or Michael equal this. $300, guys, $300 on Friday. Team, we ready? We good? What did he buy? Oh, what is it? I'm broke. Is there a broke coin? They should make a broke meme coin. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Okay, guys, let's jump straight into it. So I want to go through a couple of things. We'll just get the charts up over here. Okay, cool. Okay, so again, I'm going to start with a little bit of high time frame here. I think it's very important to zoom out, right? Zoom out. And I made this tweet a little bit earlier. Let me get the tweet up here. I want to show you guys. Okay, and I think it's just quite important. It's quite important. Okay. Set it aside straight here. There's no better time to be bullish in crypto right now. I'll show you guys why. Okay, place your bets and be patient. Right, I think that is, for me, one of the #1 things that I'm doing right now. I even sold my beautiful Maserati, right? I sold it. And I'm here to tell you guys straight, I sold it, right? And I bought crypto, which was hard. So I took it for its last drive and I was like, and many will kind of look at that and get down. For me, it's like, hey, I can go buy another 3, right, when markets are set up. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Obviously, I've been trying to accumulate where I can, but I needed to take some bigger positions in there. And I did it. And it actually feels great, right? It feels really, really, really good knowing that I'm buying the damn dip. I'm buying these lows where we're at. So first thing again, USDT dominance is at the major high areas of every top of the cycles. Right, if you go and you go mark all these tops, okay, remember this chart going down is bullish, okay, going up is bearish. If you go mark all the times we have been exiting these areas over here at the top over here, has marked all of these damn top cycles where we have seen major rallies happen from those zones. Now, not only have we seen major rallies, right, you get to a certain point that if you draw this out, right, you get bull markets, right? These are major bull runs that you basically get. Right, so in between, you get many of the small waves where you get a nice little 50, 100% bounce in the market, right? Remember, crypto's a lot more volatile, but it's not too often, right, that you get the bull market entries, right? Those only come once every couple of years that you actually get them. We're at that phase again, right? So again, this is extremely overbought when it comes to the very high time frame views, okay, as well as Bitcoin. Right, looking at Bitcoin, this is kind of my plays of what I'm paying attention to on Bitcoin. Right, I spoke around, Bitcoin kind of being in these timing cycles. Okay, and again, every 1,400 days we find bottoms, and every 1,100 days after the bottoms we find tops. Right, but if you just look at Bitcoin as a whole, this is kind of the waves that we've been setting in. Okay, and as much as it seemed like a very hard bear market that we're seeing, right, Bitcoin is slowly getting stronger to the downside. And that's what we want to see over time, right? We want to see Bitcoin get stronger to the downside, right, where it used to drop 90%, then it's dropping 80%, then 70%. And hopefully this time we can drop anywhere between 50 and 60%. And yet again, we're seeing many, many reasons of why we can see a major bounce here. Okay, and if they are going to flush us, they're very likely to flush us in the next 3 to 4 weeks, right? If we're going to see a $40,000, and then very likely market's going to start resetting and moving to the upside again, right? So this is kind of my play here and kind of my timing wise that I see us do obviously push down, but I see us really rallying up at the end of this year into 2027, right? And then we'll see the major areas. And again, if we kind of look at the percentages, right? Bitcoin was doing a 10x, then a 5x, and a 3x. Very likely we do a 2x over the next cycle, right? So we're getting stronger to the downside, and we're also slowly getting a little bit less crazy volatility to the upside. And it's literally just following this huge, massive channel to the upside, right? Giving us an idea that we're probably looking anywhere between 160, 170 as kind of the targets to for the next upside type of rally, right? Then let's jump straight into the altcoins. So guys, these are the bets that I've been playing, and I'm just going to keep it quite simple, right? There are many tools. There are Fibonacci levels, right? So again, we go on alts here and we see, okay, major 618s, right? Horizontals, right? There's many RSIs at the bottom, stochastic at the bottom, right? There's many different signs of why type of thing, but I'm going to keep it quite simple and just show you guys the simple stats. So again, the important thing to pay attention to here, right, is using the RSI. RSI is something that doesn't really get oversold and overbought too often, okay? But when it does, it's really accurate, right? So I just want to show you guys an example of where ETH is now. So again, if you kind of look at ETH returned back to the original momentum trend. Right, back to the original momentum that we've been multiple times in 2022. We've been obviously here in 2020. We were here again in 2025, right? We're here in 26, okay? And we are just hovering at these major lows over here. The ETH to Bitcoin dominance, right? RSIs are super reset on our back at support. ETH dominance, right? Let me show you guys ETH dominance. Where ETH dominance is at, right? ETH dominance is on the verge of breaking the 200-day moving average. Okay, not only that, it has now started breaking the weekly trend. I don't know if you guys see that, right? Which means a little bit of Ethereum dominance coming to the market is very likely. And again, this thing's extremely oversold, okay? Only been there 3-4 times over the last couple of years, but nonetheless, this is a good sign for altcoins, okay? But I want to speak around ETH. ETH for me is one of the plays I'm paying attention to here of accumulating in these zones, okay? It has started breaking this weekly trend over here, but the important thing is the RSI. Right, the RSI for me is indicating one simple thing over here. We have only been this oversold, right, 5 times over the last 5-6 years. Okay, but I want to show you guys something that's important. It's no point just saying oversold. Every time we have been here, right, we've been in different parts of the cycle. We've either been mid-bear, we've either been bull run, we've either been bottom of the bear. But nonetheless, I just want to show you guys, when we were this oversold in the bear market, we had 100% move to the upside. In the bear market, right, and still remained in the bear for many months after that, right? The RSI was this low, exiting this area. So again, 100% move over here on that move. Then we get into bull market territory with the RSI being this bottom over here after coming down a multiple amount of percent. Right, let's actually see the percentage there that we came down. Right, 63%. Let's see how much we've come down to where we are now. Oh, 63%. Cool, interesting. Okay, nonetheless, with this over here, right, we saw a 200% move to the upside. The last time the RSI was overset, we got a 36% move to the downside, right? However, we still remained in the bear trend. Okay, now we're starting to pop our head outside of the trend over here. And for me personally, I'm getting ready for ETH push up to $3,000 as an interim push. I do think that over the next couple of weeks, we should see a move up to here, then something like this. And then I do see us possibly moving up to the top of the channel. ETH is in a massive channel. So for me, risk to rewards right now, Ethereum looks like a really good trade, and specifically a high time frame trade. Just pop this up here. When you set and forget, you give it some space, right? And this for me is the high time frame, something for 2-3 years. And if I'm looking at short time frame, right, over the next few months, I'm looking at a move up to $3,000. So ETH is one of the major tokens that I want to speak around. Then I want to jump to a couple others. I want to jump here too. This one over here, which is Injective, right? Now, again, Injective, AI space, right? Trading space, RWA space, right? But if we look at this over here, there's a couple of interesting things that I've seen. The first thing is the 200-day moving average, right? There's a certain point where it sits under the 200-day. And I don't know if you see this, but this looks very similar to what we've been doing over here. Then what it does is it has its first little pop and it hits its head over the 200-day. It comes down, it tests, and then after that, we go into a major rally. But at the same point, okay, we need to pay attention to the RSI, right? Because when it's in this bear cycle, it tends to stay inside of this trend and make these new lows. Okay, then there's a certain point where it pops the trend, it retests the trend, and then it goes into a full bull type of momentum, right? So if we look at this sign over here, the first one is the 200-day, the second one is breaking the trend, the third one is the retest of the trend, right? And then we look at the break to the upside once it breaks through that major area over there. If we look at where we are today, right, we have broken obviously the major trend. We have broken the RSI trend. We have come down, we have tested, and now we are bouncing on these areas, and we are bouncing above the 200-day moving average. And if you look at this over here, there's one more trend line to break through, and this is why I see this as an accumulation area here, where I'm building positions within this week, because once we break these areas, there's very likely a strong push coming anywhere up to $13 to $15, right? Up to a 200% move. Now, yet again, you can go and do the maths and go look at every time we've been oversold on this, right? You can kind of look at the percentages that we have done, right? 120%, it's actually bigger, hold on. Okay, from the areas over here of 121%, right? You look at areas of where we bounced this time, we had 100%, right? So yet again, we had the explosion. We put in the new weekly higher high. We now put in the new weekly higher low, and the breaker trend is what separates us from another 200% to the upside. One of my favorite alts that makes sense fundamentally in the market right now that I'm paying attention to, which gets me to the next one, which is Near Protocol, which is giving me a very similar signal, right? A long trend in RSI, breaking of the trend, right? Breaking of the 200-day moving average, coming down and testing the 200-day moving average, and then going into a major run to the upside. We have broken out of the trend. We are retesting these zones now, and we are above the 200-day moving average over here. One of the urgent ones that I'm accumulating right now, again, in the AI space. And for me, I'm looking at a move up to the areas of this mid-range of up to 130 to 170%. How am I getting these areas? Again, there's tons of TA behind what I'm just saying. It's basically moving to the top of the channel that we've been making to this downside over here, right, in these areas over here, as well as 786 and 618 Fibonacci of these major moves to the downside here. So I'm looking at a move up to 4.5, anywhere up to $6, and those are the entries that I'm taking right now when it comes to Near Protocol. Then the next one I want to speak around, right, is XRP. Now, XRP is something that fundamentally started making sense in 2024, 2025, right? Started passing some really big court cases, okay? But one thing I want to pay attention to this over here is us starting to pop our head through a very long trend line that's been coming down since 2025, right? We're looking at a 12-month trend line to the downside. Not only that, we are looking at an extremely oversold XRP that we've seen multiple times before, right? And they have marked incredibly strong low bottom areas that we are seeing. So this one is kind of like out of my top 10, this is like my 8th on the list that I'm accumulating, okay? But rarely has strong momentum runs once it breaks through the major trends, and an extremely oversold trend. And why I have a little bit of urgency is us starting to pop through this major area. Now, there's two zones of where I'm looking at the first move. The first move to $1.5, right? What I'm doing is I'm investing in this area. The moment we get the first pop off, I am moving my stop losses to entry. Right? Protecting downside has become one of the most important things that I've learned throughout these cycles, and specifically the last 12 months, right? Just when you get investments and they go into profits, put stop losses at entries, right? But nonetheless, I'm looking at a move, right, over the next couple of weeks to the areas of up to $2, right? So this one, a little bit larger market cap. As I said, it's around 8th on my list that I'm paying attention to. Okay, but I'm looking for a move to retest these previous lows over here, or these previous lows, which are resistance now. And that's sitting at close to the $2 mark. Then I want to jump into AVAX. AVAX for me is one of the tokens that I'm really accumulating at a strong pace right now. Not only that, I'm starting to build some margin positions, okay, as well as spot positions over here. And if you look at this over here, there's only been a certain amount of time. Again, if it's in bear market, it's quite clear that if we look at where we are now here, it's very much this area that we are accumulating in this zone over here, right? Pretty similar, okay? So I know that, I understand that. That's why for me, this one is space, right? Give it space, give it time, accumulate it at the bottom of the ranges. We've only been this cheap, right, 3 times before, and the 4th time is basically when we had the launch in 2020 type of areas. But nonetheless, RSI, right, has been giving me this indication, right? We've been moving at this trend to the downside, which means I'm preparing for a move from here to here. I'm not preparing for a move for here just yet. I'm preparing for this major move up over here to this area here, right? Similar to what we've seen in these major moves here. So I'm looking for a move that looks like this to the upside, right? And I'm looking for a move that comes up and tests this major trend over here. So my move that I'm preparing for now is looking for up to the areas of $15 to $20, right? You put that in understanding now it's around 200, 250% of where we're seeing. Now, nonetheless, as well, RSIs are extremely oversold. We've only been at this area of below or close to the 30% mark, right? These 3 times over here, we've even gone lower than the previous time we went over here. Makes sense. Chart also came slightly lower down. But if you look at every time we have been at the zones and bounced, the first time 78%, second time 113%, the third time 471%, 164%, 131%, 33%, right? And now we're sitting at this area over here, right? So again, on average, we're getting anywhere of up to 50 to 80% bounce on average every time RSI is sitting at this point. But at the same point, these areas of these bounces were mid-bear, right? I do think we're still in bear, but I do think we're a lot closer for us exiting and having our first relief rally, which is the disbelief rally in the market cycle, right? For me, this is an area and a push up. And again, I'm still kind of bearish here, guys. I'm not saying that, hey, we're going all-time highs. I'm saying to these areas over here, and that is anywhere up to the areas of up to 200 to 250%. So that is one token that I'm really accumulating. Then SUI. SUI is one of the best opportunities I see in the market right now. Okay, so again, RSI tends to bottom out in the areas of 30 to 40, right? Every time you're seeing, this was obviously crazy bull. Again, it came after a lot of drop, right? So you kind of have to pay attention to, if we look at drop cycles here, right? If you look at this, where we had a big drop off of 77%, right? And we go through from the major highs now to where we are now, 86%. And if we go look at the recent highs, well, the highs that we made in 25, right? You're looking at the areas of around 80, 84% down, right? So this is just as oversold as what we were in these areas over here. Obviously, after that, we did a 700% pump. My goal is not to be too bullish, even though that as I look at these charts, I want to be crazy bullish. I'm just looking at the simplicity of RSI being reset, right? And I'm looking for a push up to the areas of these major trends, which are sitting here at $1.4, which is 90% away. And what I want to see over the next couple of months is a push up to $2 to this area over here. So what I'm doing here is bringing you incredibly oversold tokens right now, right? We have the next one here, which is Chainlink. Chainlink's actually maybe a little bit closer to breaking out than many of the altcoins. It still has a little bit of resistance ahead, which means I need to give myself up to a 10% kind of range that we are in, okay, over here, which just means if I see a 2-3% dump, it's not changing my mentality, right? Areas supports are sitting here at the areas of the low $8 marks. So these are kind of my accumulation zones that I'm paying attention to. Again, when it comes to RSI, extremely oversold. We are probably 2-3 weeks away from breaking of the major trends. If I do see a rejection, again, I'm looking at low $8 zones. We're also straight back to the big accumulation that's always been the big accumulation zone when it comes to Chainlink, right? This big zone here between the areas of the $6 and this $8 range has always been the best times to accumulate Chainlink, right? Again, Chainlink's important for me. It's glue within the ecosystem, right? And they are still by far leading their category, something that's always going to be needed in the crypto space. And as you could see, we are on the verge at any point now, break above $9, and we start releasing this and start a short squeeze to the upside. So the move that I'm looking for here is a move up to the areas of $11 to $12 in the interim, okay? And then what I'm looking for over the next couple of weeks to months is I am looking at a move up to the $18 to $20 mark. This can take a couple of months to play out. Then the next one within the AI space yet again is Render. So you can see I'm going AI space, I'm going glue within the systems, I'm going safety tokens, I'm going decentralized, right? All things that are kind of making sense. The important thing here is this has broken out of the trend and retesting right now, right? Tokens that have done this period and moved over tend to be ones that kind of can lead a cycle. The last time we leaded a cycle, right, was these areas of this 23. We saw this major run that came into play over here, okay? And now we're obviously sitting around 3 to 4 years later, okay? So again, the important thing that I see here is I slowly start popping out of the weekly trends over here. What is holding it as resistance right now is 1.7. This is the 200-day. Once we're above that, I'm looking at accumulation in areas for move up to 4.5, if not areas to $5.3. Right? Then I want to speak around, what have I not done? Solana, right? Sol for me, I'm preparing a move up to $120 to $130. RSI extremely oversold. And not only that, we're starting to get ready at any point now of breaking the weekly trends. We've actually broken out. This is a retest we're seeing right now. And we have not been this oversold since Solana was sitting at the $8 to $10 region. Okay, so Solana is one of the next major ones that I am paying attention to when it comes to accumulation. Now I want to speak around the short-term plays of what I'm seeing in the market right now. A couple of trades that I'm seeing. So I've taken a few positions here. I've taken a Doge position, an XRP position, and a Chainlink position on the short time frame. I've used it with 𝗧𝗥𝗔𝗗𝗘, guys. If you guys don't have a 𝗧𝗥 account, it's one of the best platforms out there. We have a spin wheel right now of winning a F1 ticket, right? There's a couple of small steps you do. Sign up. There's links below in the description, and we do so. And I heard there's a little, what's the special here, guys? What are we offering people here when it comes to, let's see here. Are we going to give $1,000? Okay, so next week, Wednesday, I'm putting $1,000 in any of your real USDT, right? In any of your guys' 𝗧𝗥 accounts, right? So get your accounts loaded up. You have to have a sort of deposit in there. The account needs to be active. And I'll be dropping it on the stream next week for you guys into that. So what should we do? Should we do maybe $200 in 5 people's accounts? We will do that. Okay, let's jump into this and go through the short-term plays that I'm seeing. Oh, it's this one here. Okay, guys, so this is where we are short time frame with Bitcoin right now. Broke out new high in play, right? Which means a rejection here. We are rejecting the last area of a short squeeze. So for me, what I'm looking for bull scenario is a push down here and then a push up to 72, 73,000, which means this is where I'll take entries with stop losses over here. Good risk to rewards for the push up to 72, 73,000. Anything bearish is here below $64,000. Then we look at downside. So give me a very clear idea of where to put my stop loss points. Then the tokens that I wanted to show you guys, right, which is Chainlink. Chainlink has broken out of the daily and retesting right now. Quite clear where to accumulate it. These zones over here, stop loss is around 8.2. Okay, and I'm looking for a move up. The first move up, I'm looking for 9.5, but I am looking for a move up over the next week or two to the areas of up to $11. I see a double-digit green day coming very soon. One of the guys that are turning bullish very fast in the bear type of areas, but you guys will soon see why it's important to stick to your plan and don't allow anything to kind of shake it when it comes to that. I'm following the charts. I'm following what's happening right now. And that's why I am building positions in these areas. So I have Dogecoin, then Chainlink. Oh, that was Chainlink. Which other one do I have? XRP and Doge. XRP. Okay, so there's XRP. XRP had a great daily breakout. Okay, which means that this on the left-hand side over here is support. This is where I'm accumulating positions right now. Right, stop losses, giving it a little bit more room, but good stops are in the areas of around 1.1. Right, so you kind of look at the percentage here, around 3% is what I'm looking, and I'm actually looking for a push up to 1.4 pretty quickly. Right, so the 200-day moving average. Okay, then the next one that I have in play is Dogecoin. Okay, so Doge, I'm busy accumulating on the break of this daily trend that we've seen. I see this as a really good risk to reward. The only difference, though, is I've only put in 20% of what I want to put into the trade. I'm going to add more on the confirmation of a 7.3% daily close. Right, I'm adding in more, but I'm preparing a move up to the areas of up to 10 cents to the 200-day moving average. Right, it's quite clear where to put a stop loss right now, and that is where I'm preparing to put my stop loss protection, but as well at the same point, a 1 to 10 risk to reward ratio, which does not come very often. Okay, when it comes to the rest of the markets, to show you guys, ETH looking really strong. We should start seeing a continuation. If we see a rejection from here, I'm looking at something like this, and then a push to the upside. Right, when it comes to Bitcoin itself, again, I'm looking for a push down here and a move up to these zones. There's a big short squeeze loading over here, very likely to come when news comes out or something comes out that kind of looks like a news type of event. And I don't want to be caught sitting at 72, 73 looking for major areas. Guys, next week, I'm doing 2 live streams on 𝗧𝗥 where we're going to be trading the markets together. So make sure that you are there. Have a fantastic day. Thank you for watching. Lots of love. Bye-bye.